inventor we have for Britain is Edmund Cartwright. He invented the power loom, which significantly increased the efficiency of textile production and made it more manageable, and he also developed a wool combing machine. Sir Humphrey Davy was also a very important inventor during this time. He was an English chemist as well as an inventor. He invented the Davy lamp, which miners used to help detect gas and improve safety. He also discovered several alkaline earth metals and more about chemical properties of chlorine and iodine. George Stephenson was a mechanical engineer who developed the steam engine for use in trains. He was a key figure in building the 25-mile Stockton and Darlington Railway, and also built the first intercity railway between Liverpool and Manchester, starting the railway age. Isambard Kingdom Brunel was an English engineer. He was the heart of many building projects of the British Industrial Revolution. He built Great Western Railways from Bristol to London and developed powerful steamships. He built the first tunnel under a navigable river. Sir Henry Bessemer was an English engineer, inventor, and businessman. His greatest contribution was to the mass production of steel, making it a key component of the second wave of the Industrial Revolution. Andrew Carnegie was known as the industrial giant. He dominated the steel industry and accumulated a fortune worth millions. His steel factories were the most technologically advanced in the world. He ran his company with a dictatorial hand as they operated 24/7 and his workers had very long hours. He wanted to promote the advancement of society by distributing his worth and wealth to philanthropies, mainly to the creation of public libraries. John D. Rockefeller was in charge of oil firms, and he had secret deals with railroad companies and fixed prices. He bought competing oil refineries and managed all operations such as drilling, refining, storage, and distribution. Rockefeller's Standard Oil Company controlled most of the nation's oil industry. He was also involved with many philanthropies and fought their efforts to organize and unionize. Thomas Edison, in his workshop, patented 1,093 inventions. These included the phonograph, the first light bulb, and the motion picture. He was the most famous inventor of his time, and his inventions impacted America's growth and history. Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone in 1876, which allowed communication to extend to individuals. Before the telephone, people and businesses had to rely on the telegraph for communications. Samuel F. B. Morse invented the telegraph in 1836, which made it possible to communicate from coast to coast and revolutionized media and personal communication forever. Eli Whitney patented the cotton gin in 1794, which made life easier and less time-consuming when dealing with cotton seeds. Because of this invention, many plantations were spread throughout the South. British windmill construction was improved by refinements of sails and self-correcting devices of fantail that kept sails pointed toward the wind. Steam engines also became a huge power source during the British Industrial Revolution. The late 19th century was a time of development of electricity as a source of power. The textile industry was a key development in British industrialization. The industry was the first that employed the factory system. Steamboats were invented by James Watt from Scotland. He created a more efficient steam engine in 1775, which was one of the most important inventions during this time. The steam engines powered the first trains, steamboats, and factories. His version included a crankshaft and gears, being the foundation for modern steam engines. The spinning jenny was invented in 1764, which was significant because it allowed workers to spin more wool at one time, which increased productivity. This invention was highly necessary for making textile machines possible, invented by James Hargreaves. During this time, the elevator was invented, and so were a structure of steels, which made it possible to build the first skyscrapers. Phonographs and motion pictures were also invented. The electric generator contributed to household items like refrigerators and washing machines, which replaced water and steam-powered engines. Due to the development of the steam engine, iron and textile industries were very popular during this time. The cotton gin was invented, and before this, cotton seeds had to be removed from cotton fiber by hand. Now, cotton was more profitable for farmers and could turn cotton as their main crop, which increased the number of plantations in the South, resulting in a higher number of African slaves. In 1844, Elias Howe made the sewing machine, which changed the way clothes were made and allowed mass production of clothing. Before the sewing machine, women created most of the clothes for their family, and only the wealthy could afford to have a tailor or seamstress make their clothes. The sewing machine was later improved in 1855 when Jackson Singer patented it. During this time, the first plane was invented by brothers Orville and Wilbur Wright in 1903. It had been a long dream of humans to fly one day. Within decades to follow, planes changed the face of travel for both pleasure and business. Both America and Great Britain advanced positively during their industrial revolutions. Because of the inventions and advancements, society was able to move forward and live life in an easier way. Steamboats were rising in both America and Great Britain, which evolved in easier transportation to move goods from one area to another.